Hi guys, so I wanted to do a video to show you how I create things on my Cricut, because a lot of people have been asking for how-to videos and how does it work and is it complicated and whatnot. So I'm just going to do a really simple tutorial for you on how I do some of this. So let me see if I can turn this a little bit. So what I'm going to do is my She's Crafty logo, I want to turn that into something I can use on packages and stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that photo and I'm going to turn it into a decal. And I know that that photo is in my Facebook. So I'm just going to go to She's Crafty's page and I'll show you guys. Okay. And I'm gonna take it from the banner. So let's go to here. How do I save this? Edit, view, view cover photo. Sorry guys. And then I'm going to save the photo. So now that photo is in my photos on my iPad. And to be able to use that photo, this is just an example. You can do this with any photo. I went to my, I probably did that a little fast. I went to my Cricut design space. This is where you can either purchase different program, like art projects they have and whatnot, or you can create your own. And so I'm gonna create my own project. And this is the previous project I had there and I've already saved that. So I'm going to replace. From here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload from my photo library, and I'm going to grab my She's Crafty. And what I can do is I can crop out some of this extra space, and that just helps with editing. So I'm going to take this up to here, and it's just like normal editing that you do when you have your like your iPhone and stuff, or your Android, whatever you're using. So we've cropped out a bunch of the extra, and now I'm just left with these two colors, which, I mean, if it was other colors, then again we would have the other colors. But this little cube right here is our preview space, so we can move that around if we need to. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the black background. So I click remove, and then I click back the background, and you can see this is what I'm left with, and this is the preview. So if I was to stop right now, this is what it would look like. And that's not enough. So what else I'm gonna do is I'm gonna zoom in and I'm gonna crop out and remove the things that I don't want. So now looking at my preview, this is my preview, it looks pretty good. So you can zoom in, zoom out, and I could put that back. And now I'm left with my She's Crafty logo. So if this was something else, of course, I would have to edit it a lot more. But then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to next, and it's going to show me a preview exactly. And if I wanted to smooth it out, which I'll show you different things, you'll see that like when you smooth things, it'll kind of erase things, and it's probably going to erase this opening in the A. So I'll show you. See how it's getting smaller? And you can keep smoothing, and it's made it to where it's so smooth there's no little tiny a-hole. Aha, that's funny, a-hole. But I'm gonna reset that because I don't need to smooth out this. I want to keep it just the way it is. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to click next, and it's going to take me here to where I can save my project, and I'll call it She's Crafty. And this is so that I can go back any other time I want to, and I can pull up what I've already edited. And this will show you, these are all different kinds of products that I've worked on that I've edited and saved. These are, different kids' hands print that I've worked on and edited and made my own. So again, I'm going to take this image now, and I'm going to insert it into my workspace. And I know that I want this to be probably, let's see how big, probably, we'll say 4 inches. So if you can see up close, this is much larger than 4 inches. This is, it's hard for me to see, this is 8 inches. So I'm gonna make my screen bigger. I'm gonna scroll down and I'm just gonna use this little editor to move it to the 4-inch line, and then I can scroll back. So you can see now this is roughly 4 inches by about 3 inches. And you can see, so by touching it, it's gonna give you a brick pattern. So again, this is 4 inches by 3 inches. And I want multiples of this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to click on action now that first off, let's go back to here. So to click action and to be able to use any of the actions on my iPad, which there aren't as many options on an iPad as there are on a computer. So you're very limited. If you're using a computer, you have a lot more mobility and function in the design space. So I want to make multiples of this exact same size and logo. So I'm going to click highlight it you'll see that little box comes up. I click action and it gives me options, and I'm going to duplicate, and you see that it just keeps pushing it there. Now I can leave it like that, and I can go to make it, and it's gonna line it up on a map for me, and I don't have to do that. I can rotate these and squeeze them into one page and, you know, make them fit a little bit better. You can really play around with the format, and this screen right here is where it cuts. So if you see how this is yellow now, that's because they're overlapping. So you can see where you've made a mistake and where things are overlapped, and see now it's back to its traditional color. So let me check my mat that I already loaded. So this has vinyl on it, and these are the mats that feed into your Cricut machine. So I have, let's see, I can go down to 9. This will all cut on what I already have laid out. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to continue, and it's gonna pop up and it's gonna give me options of what materials I want to use. I could also, so this is vinyl, so I'm going to choose vinyl. And this is your default pressure. Now, if your blade's getting old, or you know that the material is a little bit thick to cut, you can change that by clicking on it. You can choose more pressure, less pressure if you're using like a very thin vinyl. I have an iron-on that's really super thin and it tears really easy, so I like to cut that one with less pressure. But I'm gonna leave this one on default because I am familiar with the settings of this vinyl and the mat, and I know that my blade's not old, so I don't need anything extra. So again, that's where we're at. So we chose vinyl, and that's where we are. Now I'm gonna pull you off of this stand, bear with me, and I'm going to show you the machine. So I don't know if I can turn my camera around while we're recording. Unfortunately, we can't. So let's see. Hopefully you can see what's happening. I can't tell. Yes. So you can see that this is flashing. So this means load the mat. Once I set my mat here on the board, here, let's see, I'm sorry guys, it's then going to flash the Cricut, and the Cricut will mean cut. So once my mat's loaded, this will start flashing and you press cut. So let me go back over here. Sorry about the bouncing around again, but let me get you guys squared away. I want you to be able to see as much of the project as possible. So again, I'm gonna feed my mat and you just set it in there, and I'm going to press load. Oh. Like I said, bear with me. So I press load, and it just brings it in just enough to hold the mat. And now my Cricut is flashing. I'm gonna press cut. So by doing that, it's gonna pull the machine, it's gonna pull it into the machine, and it's gonna start cutting the design. Once the design is cut, it'll then stop, and it will have the flashing arrow again where you can then eject the page. And this is a very simple logo, so it shouldn't take too long. It's making an odd clicking noise. Let's make sure everything's good. Oh, I see what's happening. So because I was filming, I didn't pay attention and my mat didn't get loaded properly. So it's not that bad, I don't think. I'm gonna pause it and I'm gonna pop this in if I can. Sorry guys. There we go. Woo. And then I clicked unpause. It has like little clamp areas where when you slide your mat in, it kind of holds it in its space. And I missed one of those. But we'll see what happens. This isn't anything crazy that I'm cutting, so hopefully it's pretty straightforward. But once that's cut, I will show you how to weed it and then how to transfer it. So this shouldn't take too long. But while that's cutting, you'll see on here, you get like a little time clock, and that just shows you where it's at in the cutting process. It looks pretty far along, but it probably has another minute. So it's gonna go through and cut each one of those. My next cutting project is gonna be going on this door placard. So this is an 11-inch door placard that I'm going to be applying vinyl to for somebody. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let it finish cutting that piece and see what happens. So you can cancel the cut. I should have kept it pretty simple. So I stopped it because I put it in there wrong, and I just didn't want to, I don't want to wait. So I don't think you can really see, you can barely see the cut on there. So the way that it works is I did not buy the expensive Cricut tools. I didn't think that it was necessary to spend money on those. So I made my own. And I'm gonna show you. So what I like to do is usually I'll take a X-Acto knife and I will cut right along. I don't think, yeah, it didn't finish cutting that one out, which is the end one, but I got two. So I like to just kind of get a basic cut so that I don't have a bunch of excess vinyl that I need to worry about. So what I'm gonna do is do my best to show you guys, but I will take my needle and I will find the corner and I'll pull it up. And these mats are great for holding stuff because they are sticky, so it helps to keep things down. Again, this is a really simple design, so weeding it is very easy. You can see that. And so unfortunately there's a lot of waste involved when you're doing vinyls and iron-ons. There's even more in an iron-on, unfortunately. But so you can see I'm still gonna have to weed out the center of my A and my R. But what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take my, let's see if you can see a little bit. I just use my little needle and pull it up and pull it off, get it out of there. So I'm going to do that on both of those. So imagine how hard that is when you're doing a big giant project that has a lot of really little things. And this is easy weed. So easy weed is like it's very easy to weed this vinyl. There are some other vinyls that are extremely difficult to weed out. So again, weeding is just when you're pulling out all that excess vinyl that's not needed for the project. So you can see what we're left with. And what I like to do then is take some scissors. So because I had already trimmed this with the X-Acto knife, I'm left with just this. But I'm just gonna cut this in half where the two are separate. So I now have two separate vinyls, and it's sticky on the back. So I'm definitely not going to be peeling off each letter and sticking it onto something new, but what I will be using is transfer tape. So transfer tape is a clear adhesive that you will set on top of your vinyl. And again, you can use your mats for that, or you can just lay it over the top of your project. So you just lay it over the top, and then you're gonna smooth it out. And again, I use my fancy fake credit card to smooth it out. And that's just to make sure that the clear adhesive vinyl is attached to the white vinyl that I'm going to be transferring. So let's get that on there. So that leaves us with now this. And here's where the magic happens. So you can then peel off your adhesive and you have your transfer. So if I wasn't ready to transfer this yet, I could just leave it on this sheet with this clear tape over the top of it, and then take it wherever I need to take it, or provide, you know, or take on whatever needs to be transferred to. So I will actually, let me do this, because I'm going to be shipping this out. So I will show you what my plan is for these She's Crafty logo. Get this packed over. I ordered these envelopes, but they're not custom and they're really not fun and funky. So I figured, oh, I'm gonna use my logo for them. So I'm just setting that right on top, and you could see we're not leaving this clear carrier sheet on there. Those are definitely not as sticky as the vinyl. So it's a lot easier to peel off. You can apply it to almost any surface. But you can see, and as I'm peeling, I see that some of the things aren't sticking. So you just go back and you lay it back down and keep pushing until you get, ooh, this isn't gonna stick to this bag. I don't know why. I'm having a hard time getting it on there. What I should have done was probably cleaned it with some rubbing alcohol first. I can't get it to stick on there. Come on. There we go. There we go. Let's go back down to here. There we go. So sometimes you just gotta finagle it a little bit. Find out where it's sticking and then get it. Another thing I will do is kind of pull it off of the carrier sheet a little bit, just to, once you get it going, sometimes it'll just keep going. There we go. There we go. So I am gonna save this. So I reuse my carrier sheets until they're no longer sticky. A lot of cost with the Cricut is, of course, the vinyls, the iron-ons, but these mats. So these mats, they do not last forever. They are not a forever mat. So I've had my machine since March, maybe April, and I've gone through I've ordered mats twice, so they don't last forever. So your cost is always gonna have that in it, unfortunately. But I mean, you could definitely save money by making your own tools and whatnot. And then you see, I've got my logo